Andres Herrera had driven the Mexico-Querétaro highway for over 12 years. He was used to the isolation, the night shifts, and the horror stories truckers told at gas stops. But he never thought a phone call would be the one thing that nearly cost him his life. It was a freezing Wednesday, just past 2 a.m. Andres had stopped at the Tepoztlan toll booth to grab a coffee and stretch his legs. The place was empty. The flickering yellow lights made everything feel wrong. As he checked his mirrors and walked around the truck, his phone rang. Unknown number, no area code. He answered, groggy. "Hello?" "Andres," came a raspy voice, strained, like it was coming through a dying man's throat. "Who is this?" Andres asked, suddenly alert. "Don't hang up," the voice said sharply. "I know you're at the toll booth. I'm watching you." Andres froze. He scanned the area. Nothing. No one. "Who the hell are you?" "A friend, or something worse. Don't move. Don't do anything. There's something on this road tonight. Something that shouldn't be here. I've seen others like you. None of them made it out alive." Static bled through the line, then strange sounds, whispers, metallic knocks, low humming. "If you want to survive this night, listen carefully," the voice continued. "Don't cross the old bridge. Don't look in your rear view at kilometer 77. And if you hear laughter, run." The call cut out. Andres stood there, stunned. He shoved the phone into his pocket and jumped back into the cab. At the bridge, a thick fog rolled in, swallowing the road. As he crossed, he heard a loud, metallic thump from behind. He stopped, got out. Nothing. Not a scratch. But the feeling of being watched was unbearable. He kept driving. At kilometer 77 it happened. Children's laughter. But not normal laughter. This was twisted, warped, like it came from broken throats. It echoed from the trees on the right side of the road. He remembered the warning, "Don't look in the mirror." He fought the urge. His hands were white-knuckling the wheel. His chest was tight. But curiosity won. He glanced at the mirror. A white figure was floating just behind the trailer. Hollow eyes, no mouth. It didn't move, just hovered. Andres slammed the gas. The figure stayed in the mirror. No matter how fast he drove, it never shrank, just stared. He didn't stop until the next toll booth. When he pulled in, it vanished. Later, he tried checking his truck's rear camera feed. The footage from kilometer 77 was corrupted. He reported the call to his company. They found no trace of it, no number, no record. Since then, Andres wears a silver medallion a stranger gave him at that same toll booth. He never answers unknown numbers while driving, and he never looks in the rear view past midnight. A few years back, Luis Mendez took a long-haul trucking job hauling goods from Guadalajara to the Texas border. He was used to driving alone, especially on overnight routes, but one night he agreed to do something he never had before, take on a temporary co-driver. It happened at a small fuel stop on the outskirts of Zacatecas. While refueling, a skinny man approached him, pale, wiry, with dark circles under his eyes. "They call me Chino," he said. "You heading north? Mind giving me a lift?" Luis hesitated. The guy looked off, but something told him it'd be safer to have company on that lonely stretch. They rode in silence for hours. Chino barely moved, just stared out the windshield like he wasn't really there. Then, Around 3 a.m., while driving through a remote canyon road surrounded by thick brush, Luis noticed something strange. He could hear breathing, heavy, wet breathing, right next to him. He glanced sideways. Chino was sitting motionless, but his head was slumped forward. Luis tried to speak. "Hey, you good, man?" No answer. He reached over to nudge him, but his hand passed right through Chino's shoulder like it was smoke. Luis yanked his hand back, heart pounding. He turned to face the seat fully, and it was empty. The passenger seat was cold, undisturbed, seatbelt dangling loose. He felt like the air had been sucked out of the cab. Still, he kept driving. Maybe he was tired. Maybe he imagined it. But then, the CB radio turned on by itself. Static filled the cabin, and then a woman's voice came through, slow and warped. "Don't trust him. He's not who he says he is." The truck began to lose power. The speedometer dropped. Luis looked in the mirror and saw another vehicle behind him. No headlights, no grill, just a black, driverless pickup trailing him closer and closer. In the passenger seat, a dark shadow began to form, a humanoid shape. It shook its head slowly. Luis floored it. The shadow didn't vanish. Neither did the black truck. He swerved into a deserted rest area. As soon as he stopped, the power came back. The shadow disappeared, and the road behind him was empty again. When he got back to Guadalajara, Luis checked with dispatch. There was no co-driver assigned to his route, no Chino in the records. When he asked for the gas station security footage, the attendant told him it had been mysteriously erased. Luis now refuses to let anyone ride with him. He keeps the passenger seat clear and the rearview mirror covered with a cloth after midnight, just in case Chino ever tries to come back.
For over 15 years, Ernesto Galvez worked as a long-haul trucker, hauling heavy cargo across northern Mexico. He knew every dangerous turn, every shady checkpoint, and every whispered legend. But he never believed in any of that. Until the night he picked up the passenger at mile 45. It was a pitch-black night, the kind that feels heavier than usual. A thick fog clung to the windshield like something trying to hide what lay ahead. Ernesto was hauling an empty container from Monterrey to Ciudad Juarez. At kilometer 45 of the free road, just before a detour near an old abandoned mining zone, he spotted a man on the side of the road. The man wore a worn-out hat and a military-style jacket. He raised his arm to signal. Ernesto never picked up hitchhikers. His company strictly forbade it. But something about the way the man looked at him, something in those eyes, made him stop. Or maybe it forced him. "Where are you headed?" Ernesto asked as the man climbed in without a word. "North," the man replied in a raspy, dry voice. What followed was nearly an hour of total silence. The man didn't speak, didn't move. He just stared straight ahead, hands pressed on his knees, as if bracing for something. Ernesto tried to start small talk a few times, but got no response. Then, right before the road veered toward an old mine zone, the man finally spoke. "Don't take the old tunnel. They're still in there." Ernesto's blood ran cold. There was no tunnel on this route. He knew every inch of it. But when he glanced at the passenger seat, the man was gone. He slammed the brakes, nearly flipping the trailer. Grabbing his flashlight, he jumped out and searched everywhere. No footprints, no stirred dust. The door on the passenger side was still shut tight. Maybe it was exhaustion. Maybe a hallucination. He climbed back in and drove on. 5 minutes later, his CB radio crackled violently with static. Then a voice, quiet but unmistakable. "I told you not to come this way." That's when the truck's headlights lit up something impossible. An old tunnel entrance carved into the hillside, lined with rusted rails. It wasn't on any GPS or map, but it was real, right in front of him. Ernesto slammed on the brakes. The engine died.
Complete silence. Then, from the tunnel's mouth, they started coming out. Figures. Dozens of them, dragging their feet, their mouths open in a soundless scream. No eyes, just black hollows. Some wore old mining gear, others soldier uniforms. Some looked like truckers, all long dead. He tried to restart the engine. Nothing. He slammed the wheel, prayed. The last thing he remembers before blacking out was a hand pressing against the inside of his windshield, leaving a wet, dirty print. He woke up at sunrise. The tunnel was gone. The engine turned over perfectly. But on the inside of the windshield, the handprint remained. He never drove at night again. And every May 13th, his GPS flashes a red dot at kilometer 45, like someone still wants him back.